Nothing outside of you needs to change right now. The chaos, the pressure, the noise, they only have power when your mind reacts to them. Calm is not something you wait for. Calm is something you choose and then train. In the moments when others panic, you will learn to pause, to see clearly, to remain steady. This audiobook is not about escaping life. It is about mastering your mind. So no matter what happens, you stay calm. Chapter 1. Why Your Mind Panics. Before you learn how to remain calm, you must first understand what is happening inside your mind when calm disappears. Panic is not a flaw in you. It is not weakness. It is not something broken. Panic is a response that was learned long before you were aware of it. Your mind was built to protect you. Thousands of years ago, it kept humans alive by reacting quickly to danger. When uncertainty appeared, the body prepared itself to survive. That system never left. It simply adapted to a modern world it does not fully understand. Today, danger is rarely physical. It arrives as thoughts, as expectations, as imagined outcomes. A single thought, what if this goes wrong, can trigger the same reaction your ancestors felt when facing real threats. Your heart accelerates, your breathing shortens, your muscles tighten. Nothing has happened, yet your body behaves as if everything has. This is not because you are weak. It is because the mind does not clearly separate reality from imagination. To the nervous system, a thought feels real. Most people believe life itself is stressful, but life is neutral. Stress is created by interpretation. Two people can face the same situation. One stays steady, the other collapses internally. The difference is not intelligence or strength. It is the way the mind relates to its own thoughts. Calm people still experience anxious thoughts. They simply do not follow them. They understand something most people never learn. A thought is an event in the mind, not a command. When you stop treating thoughts as orders, their authority fades. This is why trying to fight anxiety rarely works. Resistance tells the brain that something is wrong. The body tightens. The mind escalates. Panic grows stronger because it feels threatened. Calm does not come from control. It comes from permission. When you allow sensations to exist without judgment, the nervous system begins to soften. There is nothing left to defend against. Between what happens and how you react, there is a small space. Most people rush past it. Calm people live inside it. In that space, you gain choice. You can pause instead of panic. You can breathe instead of react. You can observe instead of collapse. This pause is not created by force. It is revealed through awareness. And awareness begins the moment you notice what is happening without trying to change it. The most important truth of this chapter is this. Panic is something you experience, not something you are. You are the one who notices the racing heart, the one who observes the tight chest, the one who hears the anxious voice, the one who notices is already calm. As you continue listening, this understanding will deepen. Calm will stop feeling distant. It will become familiar, accessible, natural. Pause here. Take a slow breath. The training has already begun. Chapter 2. The Illusion of Control. Most of your stress comes from one silent belief, the belief that you are supposed to control everything. From an early age, the mind is trained to seek certainty, to predict outcomes, to manage results, to stay ahead of life. This seems reasonable. It feels responsible. It feels necessary. But this belief is also the source of constant tension, because life does not move according to plans. People do not behave according to expectations. Outcomes do not follow certainty. And the mind that tries to control what cannot be controlled never truly rests. The illusion of control is subtle. It hides inside phrases like, I need to make sure, I can't let this go wrong, I should be able to handle this. What the mind is really saying is, if I lose control, I am not safe. This is not true, but the nervous system believes it, so it tightens. It stays alert. It prepares for impact that may never come. Calm disappears not because something bad is happening, but because the mind is bracing for what might happen. Most people spend their lives living slightly ahead of the present moment, mentally rehearsing conversations, imagining future problems, correcting past mistakes. Very rarely are they actually here. Control lives in the future, calm lives in the present. You cannot experience both at the same time. The moment you try to control the future, you leave the now. And the body feels that absence. This is why calm people seem grounded. They are not floating ahead of life. They are rooted in it. They understand something quietly powerful. There is a difference between responsibility and control. Responsibility belongs to you. Control does not. You are responsible for your actions, your effort, your honesty, your choices. You are not responsible for outcomes, for timing, for how others respond, for how life unfolds. When the mind confuses responsibility with control, it takes on weight it was never meant to carry. That weight becomes anxiety. The body was never designed to hold the future. It was designed to respond to now. Think of how exhausting it is to replay a situation that hasn't happened yet. The mind runs simulations, corrects imaginary mistakes, tries to prepare for every possibility. Yet none of that activity brings certainty. It only drains energy. Calm people do not know more than others. They simply stop trying to solve imaginary moments. They place their attention where it belongs. Here, now. This does not mean they don't plan. It means they don't cling. Planning is flexible. Control is rigid. Flexibility allows calm. Rigidity breeds tension. The illusion of control also shows up in relationships. Trying to manage how others feel. Trying to prevent disappointment. Trying to keep everything stable. But stability created through control is fragile. It breaks under pressure. True stability comes from inner steadiness. When you stop trying to control people, you regain control of yourself. When you stop controlling outcomes, you reclaim your nervous system. There is a quiet relief that comes with acceptance. Acceptance does not mean liking everything. It means seeing clearly. Seeing that reality does not need permission to unfold. The more you allow life to move, the less resistance builds inside you. Resistance is what creates inner friction, and friction is what feels like stress. Notice how the body reacts when you let go, even slightly. The shoulders soften, the jaw loosens, the breath deepens. This is not coincidence. The body relaxes when the mind stops gripping. You do not need to control everything to be safe. You need to be present enough to respond. Response is calm. Reaction is panic. Reaction comes from fear of losing control. Response comes from trust and awareness. Calm people trust themselves, not in outcomes, not in certainty. They trust their ability to meet whatever arrives. This trust removes the need to constantly prepare. When something happens, they deal with it. Until then, they live. The present moment is not dangerous. It never has been. It is the imagined future that frightens the mind. But the future does not exist yet. And when it does, it will arrive as another present moment, one you are fully capable of handling. Let that understanding settle. You do not need to be ahead of life. You need to be with it. The more you return to now, the quieter the mind becomes. Not silent, just less demanding, less urgent. Calm begins when urgency dissolves. You are allowed to loosen your grip. Nothing collapses when you do. In fact, something opens. A steadiness that was always there. Pause here. Let your breath move naturally. Nothing needs to be controlled in this moment. And because of that, this moment is safe. Chapter 3. The breath in the body. Before the mind can be calm, the body must feel safe. This is something most people never learn. They try to calm the mind with thinking, with logic, with reassurance. But the mind does not calm the body. The body calms the mind. Every emotional state you experience is reflected in the body first. Tension appears before worry is noticed. Shallow breathing comes before panic is named. Tightness forms before fear becomes conscious. The body always speaks first, and the body listens most closely to one thing: the breath. Your breath is not just air moving in and out. It is a signal. Every inhale and exhale tells your nervous system whether it is safe or whether it should prepare for danger. Fast, shallow breathing says something is wrong. Slow, steady breathing says nothing is urgent. Most people breathe as if they are constantly late, as if something is about to go wrong, as if they must stay alert to survive. They do this without realizing it. The breath adapts to stress so quietly that it feels normal. But the body never forgets the message it is receiving. A tense breath creates a tense body. A tense body creates anxious thoughts. Anxious thoughts reinforce tense breathing. This loop runs all day for most people. Calm people interrupt the loop, not with force, not with effort, with awareness. The moment you notice your breath, you step out of unconscious reaction and into choice. There is no need to change it immediately. Just notice. Notice where the breath is shallow. Notice where it hesitates. Notice where it rushes. Observation alone begins to soften it. The body trusts attention more than control. When you slow the breath slightly, the nervous system listens. When you lengthen the exhale, the body releases. This is not imagination. It is biology. The exhale activates the part of your nervous system responsible for rest, recovery, and calm. Longer exhales tell the body, the danger has passed. Even if the mind still feels uncertain, the body begins to relax. And when the body relaxes, the mind follows. This is why breath is always the doorway. You cannot think your way into calm, but you can breathe your way into it. As you listen now, notice the weight of your body. Notice where it meets the surface beneath you. There is nothing you need to hold up. The body knows how to be supported. Tension often comes from unconscious holding. Holding the shoulders high, holding the jaw tight, holding the stomach firm. These holds are habits. They are not necessary. When you release them, nothing falls apart. The body actually feels safer. Calm is not collapse. It is ease without resistance. You do not need perfect posture. You do not need special technique. You only need permission to soften. The breath becomes deeper when the body is allowed to settle. And the body settles when it no longer feels rushed. Rushing is the enemy of calm. There is no urgency here. This moment does not require speed. Your breath can move at its own pace. Notice how the body responds when you stop trying to manage it. The shoulders drop slightly. The chest opens a little. The face relaxes. These small changes matter. They tell the nervous system that it no longer needs to be on guard. Many people live as if they are bracing for impact, even in silence, even in safety. The body remains prepared because it has never been taught to rest. Rest is not laziness, it is regulation. A regulated body supports a clear mind. As the breath slows, thoughts lose their urgency. They may still appear, but they do not shout. They pass more easily. This is how calm feels. Not empty, not numb, just quieter. The body does not need reassurance in words. It responds to rhythm. A steady breath creates a steady rhythm. And rhythm creates trust. Trust allows release. The more often you return to the breath, the more familiar calm becomes. Not something you chase, something you return to. Over time, the body learns that it does not need to stay tense all day. It learns that relaxation is allowed. And once the body learns this, panic loses its foundation. Because panic cannot exist in a body that feels safe. You may notice sensations arise as you relax. Warmth, heaviness, gentle tingling. These are signs of release. They are not distractions. They are signals that the nervous system is shifting. Let them be. There is nothing to analyze. The body knows what it is doing. Calm is not created. It is uncovered. It has always been here beneath the tension. Each breath that softens reveals a little more of it. This training is simple, but it is not shallow. It works because it speaks the language of the body. Return to the breath often, not only when anxious. Teach the body calm before stress arrives. This is how calm becomes your baseline, not your emergency response. Pause here. Let the breath move naturally. Feel the body resting. Nothing is required of you in this moment. And because of that, the body remembers how to be calm. Chapter 4. The Power of Silence. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is space, and space is where calm lives. Most people are uncomfortable with silence. Not because silence is dangerous, but because silence removes distraction. And when distraction disappears, the mind becomes visible. Thoughts rise, sensations appear, emotions move. So the mind fills the space with noise, with talking, with scrolling, with constant engagement. Not because it needs to, but because it is afraid of stillness. Yet silence is not the enemy of calm. It is the doorway. Calm people understand this intuitively. They do not rush to fill gaps. They do not panic when nothing is happening. They are not disturbed by pauses. They allow moments to breathe. Silence gives the nervous system permission to rest. Noise keeps it alert. Most people live in a constant state of low-grade stimulation, even when alone, even when nothing is required. The mind stays busy because it believes stillness is unsafe. But stillness is where regulation happens. Think of how the body responds in silence. The breath slows, the muscles soften, the heart rate steadies. This is not coincidence. Silence signals safety, not because nothing can happen, but because nothing is happening right now. And right now is all the body understands. The mind may jump ahead, it may replay the past, it may imagine the future. But silence brings attention back. Here, now, the moment. This is why silence feels powerful. It anchors you. When you stop speaking, when you stop reacting, when you stop filling space, something inside you steadies. Silence creates a pause between impulse and action, and that pause changes everything. Most regret comes from speaking too quickly, from reacting without space, from responding before clarity arrives. Calm people pause, not because they lack words, but because they respect timing. They allow silence to do its work. In silence, emotion settles. In silence, perspective widens. In silence, the nervous system recalibrates. You do not need to explain everything immediately. You do not need to respond instantly. You do not need to fill every moment. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strength under control. When you choose silence instead of reaction, you reclaim your center. Notice how silence feels in the body. At first, it may feel unfamiliar, even uncomfortable. The mind may try to escape it. Let it. Do not chase thoughts. Do not suppress them. Let them pass through the space of silence. Silence does not stop thoughts. It reveals that they do not control you. You are the space they move through. This realization is subtle, but once felt, it cannot be forgotten. You are not the noise. You are the stillness beneath it. When the world feels loud, silence becomes your refuge. Not external silence, but inner silence. The ability to remain still inside even while life moves around you. This is trained. It begins with small pauses. Pauses before speaking. Pauses before reacting. Pauses before deciding. Each pause teaches the nervous system that urgency is optional. Urgency creates stress. Space dissolves it. Silence also changes how others experience you. People feel calmer around those who are not rushed, those who do not compete for attention, those who are comfortable not performing. Silence carries presence. Presence carries authority. You do not need to dominate a conversation to be grounded in it. You do not need to fill space to hold it. The quieter you become inside, the clearer you hear. Not just words, but tone, emotion, subtlety. Silence sharpens perception. It slows the moment enough for wisdom to catch up. This is why silence feels uncomfortable to the anxious mind. Anxiety thrives on speed. Silence slows everything down. And when things slow down, the illusion of danger weakens. Nothing is chasing you in silence. Nothing is demanding immediate action. There is just awareness. And awareness is calm. You may notice that silence brings up emotion. This is normal. Emotion rises when it has space. This does not mean silence is causing distress. It means silence is allowing release. What is felt can move. What is resisted stays stuck. Let silence hold whatever appears. There is no need to label it, no need to analyze, just stay present. The body knows how to process when given time. Silence is time. Time without pressure, time without expectation, time without performance. As you practice silence, you will notice something change. You will feel less compelled to react, less pressured to speak, less driven to explain. You will begin to trust your inner steadiness. This trust creates calm, not calm as an emotion, but calm as a foundation, a quiet confidence that does not need proof. Silence teaches patience. Patience teaches strength. Strength teaches calm. They are not separate. They are expressions of the same steadiness. You do not need long periods of silence to benefit. Even a few seconds matter. A breath before replying, a pause before moving, a moment before deciding. These moments accumulate. They rewire how you experience stress. Over time, silence stops feeling empty. It starts feeling full. Full of clarity, full of space, full of ease. This is not withdrawal from life. It is deeper engagement with it. Silence allows you to meet life without being overwhelmed by it. You are not required to respond to everything immediately. You are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to be still. Pause here. Let the silence settle. Nothing needs to be said. Nothing needs to be done. In this space, you are steady, and from steadiness, calm naturally arises. Chapter 5. Emotional detachment without coldness. Most people misunderstand emotional detachment. They believe it means becoming distant, unfeeling, cold. They imagine detachment as shutting down, as building walls, as no longer caring. But true emotional detachment is the opposite of that. It is not the absence of feeling. It is the absence of being controlled by feeling. Calm people still feel deeply. They experience joy. They experience sadness. They experience disappointment, excitement, and fear. The difference is simple but profound. Their emotions move through them, not over them. They do not drown in emotion. They do not suppress it. They do not become it. They allow it. Most emotional suffering comes not from feeling, but from resistance, from trying to hold on to pleasant emotions and push away uncomfortable ones. This struggle creates tension. The body tightens. The mind loops. The nervous system stays activated. Detachment begins the moment you stop arguing with what you feel. When an emotion arises, most people immediately react. They tell a story about it. They judge it. They act from it. Calm people pause. They notice. They feel the emotion in the body without turning it into an identity. They understand something quietly powerful. An emotion is a temporary state, not a definition of who you are. Sadness does not mean you are broken. Anger does not mean you are dangerous. Fear does not mean you are weak. They are movements of energy, and all movement passes when it is allowed to move. Emotional detachment means staying present without gripping. It means caring without clinging. You can care deeply about something without needing it to go a certain way. This is where peace lives. Attachment says, I need this outcome to feel okay. Detachment says, I can meet whatever happens. One creates anxiety, the other creates calm. This does not make you indifferent. It makes you resilient. When you are emotionally detached, you are less reactive. You listen more clearly. You speak more deliberately. You respond instead of explode. Your emotions inform you, but they do not drive you. This balance takes practice. At first, emotions may feel overwhelming because they have never been allowed space. When you stop suppressing them, they may appear stronger. This is temporary. Like water behind a dam, once released, it flows. And once it flows, it settles. Notice where emotion shows up in the body, the chest, the throat, the stomach. You do not need to change it. Just feel. Feeling without resistance is detachment. When you feel without reacting, the emotion completes itself. When you react, it loops. Most emotional pain is recycled emotion, old feelings replayed through new stories. Detachment breaks the cycle. It creates a clean relationship with emotion. You experience what is present without dragging the past into it. This is freedom. Emotional detachment also allows compassion. When you are not consumed by your own emotional reactions, you can see others more clearly. You understand that they too are acting from emotional states. This understanding softens judgment. It does not excuse behavior, but it reduces unnecessary conflict. Calm people do not take everything personally. They see that most behavior is an expression of inner states, not a deliberate attack. This perspective protects peace. You do not need to absorb what others project. You can remain open without becoming entangled. This is emotional maturity. You stay connected, but not fused. You remain kind, but not self-sacrificing. You feel, but you are not ruled. Detachment does not mean you stop loving. It means you love without fear. Fear turns love into control. Detachment turns love into presence. When you let go of needing emotions to be different, they lose their grip. When you stop demanding constant happiness, contentment appears naturally. Calm is not constant pleasure. It is stability across changing states. Emotions will rise, emotions will fall. Detachment allows you to stay steady while they do. You are the sky. Emotions are weather. The sky does not chase clouds away. It allows them to pass. This understanding is not intellectual. It is felt, and it deepens with practice. Each time an emotion arises, see if you can stay with it without needing to fix it, without explaining it, without acting from it. Just stay. The nervous system learns that emotion is not dangerous, and when the body no longer fears emotion, panic disappears, because panic is fear of feeling. Detachment teaches the body that feeling is safe. You do not need to harden yourself to be calm. You need to soften your resistance. Softness is strength when paired with awareness. This is the balance calm people live in. They are not numb. They are not reactive. They are present. Pause here. Let whatever you feel be felt. There is nothing wrong with it. It does not define you. It will pass, and you will remain. Chapter 6. Training your inner dialogue. Every moment of your life is shaped by a voice you cannot see, a voice that speaks quietly, constantly, often without your awareness. It comments, it predicts, it judges, it warns. This voice is not who you are. It is something you listen to. Most people never question this voice. They assume it tells the truth. They follow it automatically. And because of that, they live inside whatever story it tells. If the voice is rushed, life feels urgent. If the voice is fearful, life feels dangerous. If the voice is harsh, life feels heavy. Calm people are not born with a quieter mind. They train it. They understand that the inner dialogue is not an authority. It is a habit, and habits can be reshaped. The inner voice developed early. It learned from experience, from repetition, from emotional moments. It learned how to speak to you based on what it believed would keep you safe. Sometimes it learned correctly. Often it learned fear. The voice may say things like, "This is too much. You're falling behind. Something is wrong. It is not trying to hurt you. It is trying to protect you." But protection built on fear creates constant tension. Calm begins when you stop fighting the voice and start understanding it. You do not need to silence the inner dialogue. You need to retrain it. Most people try to overpower negative thoughts with positive ones. This rarely works, because the nervous system does not respond to forced optimism. It responds to tone. The tone of your inner voice matters more than the words themselves. A calm inner voice does not shout reassurance. It speaks steadily. It does not rush. It does not panic. It guides. Imagine how you would speak to someone you deeply care about when they are overwhelmed. You would not yell at them to calm down. You would not criticize them for feeling stressed. You would slow your voice. You would choose your words carefully. You would create safety first. This is how your inner voice must learn to speak. Training the inner dialogue is not about changing every thought. It is about changing how you relate to them. When a stressful thought appears, notice its tone. Is it urgent? Is it critical? Is it dramatic? Most inner dialogue exaggerates. It uses words like always, never, everything, nothing. This language fuels anxiety. Calm people notice exaggeration and soften it. They replace urgency with neutrality. Instead of "this is a disaster," the voice learns to say, "This is uncomfortable but manageable." Instead of "I can't handle this," it learns to say, "I'm feeling pressure and I'm still here." These shifts may seem small. They are not. The nervous system responds immediately. The body relaxes when the inner voice becomes steady. You are not required to believe every thought to hear it. You can listen without obeying. This distance creates calm. Over time, the inner dialogue learns that it does not need to raise its voice to be heard. When you stop reacting to panic language, it fades. Attention trains behavior. What you respond to strengthens. What you observe softens. Your inner voice is no different. Many people are exhausted not by life, but by how they speak to themselves. Constant commentary drains energy. Calm people allow more silence internally. They do not narrate every experience. They let moments pass without interpretation. This quiet reduces mental load. You do not need to comment on everything to understand it. You can experience without explaining. When the inner voice does speak, it can be trained to orient toward stability, to remind you to breathe, to slow you down, to ground you. This does not happen overnight. It happens through repetition. Each time stress arises, you have an opportunity, not to suppress the voice, but to respond differently. You can say internally, I hear you, not you're wrong, not go away. Just acknowledgement. Acknowledgement calms the system, then you guide the tone. Slower, lower, steadier. The words matter less than the feeling they carry. Over time, the inner voice begins to mirror you. If you are patient with it, it becomes patient. If you are calm with it, it becomes calm. You are teaching it how to treat you. This is self-leadership, not control, guidance. The inner dialogue also changes how you experience uncertainty. An anxious voice demands certainty. A calm voice accepts movement. It says, I don't know yet, and that's okay. This sentence alone dissolves enormous stress. You do not need immediate answers to be at peace. You need trust in your ability to respond. Calm people trust themselves more than they trust predictions. The inner voice shifts from forecasting danger to supporting presence. It reminds you where you are. Here, now, this moment, nothing else is required. As this training deepens, you may notice fewer thoughts. Not because you force silence, but because the mind no longer needs to constantly alert you. Safety reduces noise. The inner dialogue quiets when it feels heard, when it feels respected, when it feels guided instead of fought. This is how calm becomes sustainable, not through suppression, but through relationship. You are not here to dominate your mind. You are here to lead it, and leadership is calm, steady, and clear. Pause here. Notice the tone of your inner voice right now. There is no need to change it. Just listen. And in that listening, calm is already present. Chapter 7. Staying calm under pressure. Pressure reveals training, not personality, not intelligence, not intention. Training. When life is calm, almost anyone feels steady. But when demands rise, when time compresses, when expectations collide, the mind shows what it has practiced. Most people believe calm disappears because of pressure. But pressure does not create panic. Pressure reveals it. Pressure compresses the moment. It removes distraction. It exposes the relationship you have with stress. And this is where most people struggle. They try to eliminate pressure. They try to avoid it. They wait for conditions to improve. Calm people do something different. They train themselves to remain steady inside pressure. They understand something quietly powerful. Pressure is not the enemy of calm. Resistance is. Pressure is neutral. It is simply demand-meeting capacity. What overwhelms the mind is not pressure itself, but the belief that it should not be happening. The thought, this is too much. That thought tightens the body, shortens the breath, narrows perception. Calm begins when you stop arguing with the moment. Pressure arrives whether you approve or not. The moment you accept its presence, your energy stops leaking into resistance, and energy reclaimed becomes clarity. Under pressure, the mind wants speed. It wants to rush, to react, to fix everything at once. This instinct feels urgent, but it is not intelligent. Speed without clarity creates mistakes. Calm people slow internally, even when moving quickly externally. This is the key distinction. They may act fast, but their inner state is unhurried. This steadiness comes from trust. Not trust in outcomes, but trust in process. They trust their ability to respond step by step. Pressure does not require solving everything immediately. It requires presence. One breath at a time, one decision at a time, one action at a time. When pressure hits, the body reacts first. The chest tightens, the jaw clenches, the breath lifts. This is automatic. Calm is not preventing this reaction. Calm is noticing it early. The earlier you notice tension, the easier it is to soften. Most panic escalates because it goes unnoticed. Awareness short-circuits escalation. When you feel pressure, return to the body, not to escape the moment, but to stabilize it. Feel your feet, feel your weight, feel the breath move. This grounds the nervous system. Grounding does not remove pressure, it prevents overload. Under pressure, the mind also tells stories. Stories of failure, stories of consequence, stories of what will happen if things go wrong. These stories feel convincing, but they are projections. Calm people do not debate these stories. They do not follow them. They return attention to what is actually required now. Pressure narrows time. The future becomes irrelevant. Only the present action matters. This focus simplifies complexity. You do not need to manage everything. You need to meet this moment, and then the next, and then the next. Pressure becomes manageable when it is broken into presence. Another important truth: pressure is not permanent. No state is. The body forgets this under stress. It believes the feeling will last. Calm people remind themselves gently, this will move, not as hope, but as fact. Everything moves. Pressure rises. Pressure peaks. Pressure falls. When you stop fighting it, it passes faster. Under pressure, people often abandon calm behaviors. They stop breathing consciously. They stop pausing. They stop listening. Calm people do the opposite. They double down on fundamentals. They breathe slower. They pause longer. They simplify language. They do not add complexity to an already intense moment. Pressure does not require brilliance. It requires stability. Stability allows intelligence to function. Without it, skill collapses. This is why calm is not passive. It is active regulation. A calm person under pressure is not relaxed in the casual sense. They are alert, grounded, and clear. Their nervous system is engaged, but not overwhelmed. This balance is trained. Each time you meet pressure without panic, you teach the body a new pattern. The body learns, I can handle this. This learning accumulates. Over time, pressure loses its threat. It becomes familiar, and familiarity dissolves fear. Calm people expect pressure. They do not resent it. They do not interpret it as failure. They see it as part of movement, part of growth, part of life. This perspective removes surprise. Surprise fuels panic. Expectation creates readiness. Readiness creates calm. Under pressure, words matter. What you say internally shapes your response. Harsh language escalates stress. Grounded language stabilizes it. Instead of, I can't mess this up, the inner voice learns to say, stay with the process. Instead of, everything depends on this, it says, handle what's in front of you. These phrases anchor attention. They bring you back. Calm under pressure is not heroic. It is ordinary presence practiced repeatedly. It is not dramatic. It is quiet. And that quiet allows action. You will still feel intensity. Calm does not erase sensation. It prevents overwhelm. You may still feel adrenaline. Calm allows you to use it instead of being consumed by it. Adrenaline sharpened by calm becomes focus. Adrenaline combined with panic becomes chaos. This distinction is crucial. The goal is not to feel nothing. The goal is to feel without losing clarity. Pressure is the training ground. Each moment of stress is an opportunity to practice steadiness. Not perfectly, just consistently. You do not need to master pressure. You need to stay with it, breath by breath, moment by moment. And each time you do, your nervous system updates. Calm becomes more accessible, more natural, less fragile. Pause here. Feel the strength of being present. Pressure may exist, but so does steadiness. And steadiness is always enough. Chapter 8. Letting Go of Overthinking. Overthinking is not intelligence. It is the mind searching for safety and repetition. Most people believe they overthink because they care too much, because they are analytical, because they want to get things right. But overthinking has nothing to do with accuracy. It has everything to do with fear. The mind loops not to solve, but to control. It replays moments. It predicts outcomes. It analyzes conversations that already ended and futures that have not arrived. And in doing so, it pulls you out of the only place calm exists. Now, overthinking always lives somewhere else. in the past, in the future, in imagined versions of reality, never here. Calm people still think. They simply stop following every thought. They understand that thinking is an activity, not an identity. You can think without being carried away. Overthinking begins when a thought feels urgent. The mind says, you need to figure this out. That urgency tightens the body. The breath shortens. The muscles contract. The nervous system shifts into alert. From that state, clarity disappears. You cannot think clearly while the body feels unsafe. The mind keeps spinning because it believes stopping is dangerous. But stopping is exactly what dissolves the loop. Overthinking survives on attention, not logic. When you stop feeding it, it weakens. This does not mean suppressing thoughts. Suppression creates resistance. Resistance gives thoughts energy. Letting go means allowing thoughts to appear without engaging them, like clouds passing through the sky. You do not chase clouds. You do not argue with them. You let them move. Thoughts are the same. The problem is not the thought. The problem is the belief that every thought requires action. Most do not. Most are mental noise. Left alone, they fade. Overthinking also creates false urgency. It convinces you that thinking longer will produce certainty. It will not. Certainty does not come from thinking. It comes from clarity, and clarity comes from stillness. This is why calm people pause. They stop thinking on purpose. Not forever, not dramatically, just long enough for the nervous system to settle. When the body settles, the mind simplifies. The endless questions quiet. What remains is what matters. Overthinking often masks avoidance. The mind thinks instead of feeling. It analyzes instead of experiencing. Because feeling feels unpredictable. Thinking feels controllable. But avoiding feeling keeps the loop alive. When you allow yourself to feel uncertainty, the mind no longer needs to spin around it. Feeling in cycles, thinking prolongs them. This is a difficult truth, but a freeing one. Overthinking also feeds on identity. I am someone who thinks a lot. This belief strengthens the habit. Calm people loosen identity. They do not define themselves by mental activity. They are not their thoughts. They are the awareness behind them. This awareness is already calm, always. When you notice overthinking, do not judge it. Judgment adds fuel. Just notice. Thinking is happening. That simple acknowledgement creates distance. Distance creates choice. You do not need to finish every thought. You do not need to answer every question. You are allowed to not know. This permission dissolves enormous stress. The mind fears uncertainty because it mistakes it for danger. But uncertainty is neutral. Life has always been uncertain. The body has always survived. Calm people trust this truth. They trust themselves more than their predictions. Overthinking also collapses time. It brings the future into the present. It brings problems that do not exist into the body. The body reacts as if they are real. This is exhausting. Returning to the present breaks the spell. Ask yourself gently, what is actually happening right now? Not what might happen. Not what could go wrong right now. Most of the time, the answer is simple. Nothing is wrong. The body relaxes when reality is consulted. Reality is calm. Thoughts exaggerate. Calm people come back to sensation, the feeling of the breath, the weight of the body, the sounds around them. Sensation anchors attention. Thinking loses dominance. You do not need to eliminate thoughts. You need to shift attention. Attention is power. Where it goes, energy follows. Overthinking starves when attention rests elsewhere. Over time, the mind learns that silence is safe, that it does not need to constantly explain life. When the mind learns this, it rests. Rest is not collapse. It is efficiency. A rested mind sees clearly. Overthinking creates the illusion of productivity, but it produces no movement. Calm produces action. Simple action. Appropriate action. Not rushed, not delayed, just clear. You will still think, but thoughts will come and go without trapping you. This is freedom, not silence. Flow. Pause here. Notice if thoughts are present. Do not follow them. Do not push them away. Let them pass. In that letting go, calm reveals itself, and you realize you were never trapped by thought, only by attention. Chapter 9. Building a Calm Identity. Calm is not something you do occasionally. It is something you become. Most people treat calm like a tool, something they reach for only when life becomes difficult, something temporary, something fragile. But calm was never meant to be borrowed. It was meant to be lived. An identity is not created through words. It is built through repetition, through how you respond when no one is watching, through how you speak internally, through what you choose again and again under pressure. A calm identity does not mean you never feel stress. It means stress no longer defines you. Most people unconsciously adopt an identity shaped by reaction. I'm anxious. I overthink. I get overwhelmed. These statements may feel honest, but they quietly reinforce a pattern. The mind believes what it repeats, and the nervous system organizes around identity. If you see yourself as reactive, your body prepares for reaction. If you see yourself as steady, your body learns steadiness. Calm people do not wait to feel calm before acting calm. They act calm and allow feeling to catch up. This is not pretending, it is training. Identity leads behavior. Behavior follows belief. If you believe calm is who you are, you will begin to protect it. Not aggressively, not rigidly, naturally. You will pause more, breathe more deeply, respond instead of react. Not because you are forcing yourself, but because it aligns with who you believe yourself to be. A calm identity is quiet. It does not announce itself. It does not need validation. It simply shows up consistently. Most people think identity is fixed. It is not. Identity is practiced. Every moment you choose presence over panic, you reinforce calm. Every moment you pause instead of rush, you strengthen it. Every moment you soften instead of tense, you deepen it. The nervous system learns through experience, not intention. You do not need to convince yourself you are calm. You need to act like someone who is. And over time, that action becomes natural. Calm becomes familiar. Familiarity removes effort. This is why small choices matter. The breath you take before speaking, the pause before responding, the decision to not escalate. These moments seem insignificant. They are not. They are identity-building moments. Calm people choose consistency over intensity. They do not try to overhaul themselves. They make subtle adjustments and repeat them. The body trusts repetition. When calm is practiced regularly, the nervous system adopts it as default. Then calm appears even when you are not trying. This is the shift from effort to embodiment. A calm identity also changes how you relate to challenges. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and start asking, "How does a calm person meet this?" This question reframes everything. It removes drama. It brings clarity. You stop taking life personally. You start engaging it skillfully. Calm identity does not mean avoidance. It means grounded engagement. You still take action. You still make decisions. You still face difficulty, but you do so without internal chaos. This stability gives you an advantage. Clear thinking, better communication, more accurate judgment. People feel this presence. They trust it. They respond differently to it. Calm is contagious, not because you try to influence others, but because your nervous system signals safety. Safety invites cooperation. This is leadership. Not loud, not forceful, steady. A calm identity also frees you from perfection. You no longer need to perform calm flawlessly. You allow yourself to recover quickly. Recovery is more important than avoidance. Everyone loses calm occasionally. Calm people return to it faster. They do not punish themselves for slipping. They notice. They breathe. They reset. This flexibility keeps calm alive. Rigidity kills it. You are not building an image. You are building a relationship with yourself. One based on trust. Trust that you can meet experience without collapsing. Trust that you do not need to control everything to be okay. This trust becomes internal security, and security creates calm. As this identity forms, you will notice a shift. Less urgency, less internal noise, more space between stimulus and response. You will begin to feel grounded even in movement. This is when calm becomes portable, not dependent on environment, not dependent on conditions. It moves with you. This is not emotional numbness. You still feel joy, You still feel sadness. You still care deeply. But emotions no longer destabilize you. They enrich experience without overwhelming it. Calm identity is balance, strength without tension, softness without weakness. You do not need to announce this change. You live it, quietly, naturally, moment by moment. Pause here. Notice how calm feels now, not as a state, but as a presence. This presence is not new. It has always been here. You are simply remembering who you are beneath reaction, and that remembering is the beginning of mastery. Chapter 10. Calm is a daily practice. Calm is not something you achieve once and keep forever. It is something you return to, again and again and again. This is not a failure. It is the practice. Most people believe calm should be permanent, that once learned, it should never leave. When it does, they feel discouraged. They think something went wrong. But calm was never meant to be fixed. It is meant to be revisited, just like the breath, just like balance, just like awareness. Life will move. Circumstances will change. Pressure will appear. Calm is how you meet these changes, not perfectly, not without sensation, but with steadiness. A daily calm practice does not require hours of silence. It does not require retreat from life. It requires relationship, a relationship with your breath, with your body, with your thoughts, with your reactions. You practice calm every time you notice tension and soften instead of tightening further. Every time you pause instead of rushing. Every time you choose clarity over impulse. These moments are practice. They are not separate from life. They are life. Calm deepens through consistency, not intensity. A single breath taken with awareness matters more than an hour of forced stillness. The nervous system learns from repetition, from what you do daily, not from what you do occasionally. This is why calm must become ordinary, not dramatic, not special, just present. You begin each day by checking in, not asking how you want to feel, but noticing how you do feel. You meet that honestly, without judgment, without correction. This sets the tone. Throughout the day you return, to the breath, to the body, to the present, not as an escape, but as an anchor. Calm does not remove responsibility. It enhances it. When you are calm, you see what matters. You waste less energy on unnecessary struggle. You conserve attention. Attention is precious. Calm protects it. A daily calm practice also changes your relationship with time. You stop living as if you are always late, always behind, always catching up. You begin to move at a human pace. Even when busy, even when demands are high, the mind learns that urgency is not required for effectiveness. This realization is liberating. You do not need to be tense to be productive. You do not need anxiety to be prepared. Calm is not the opposite of action. It is the foundation of skillful action. As calm becomes daily, you will notice your recovery time shorten. Stress still happens, but it passes faster. You return to baseline more quickly. This is mastery, not avoiding stress, but recovering with ease. Daily calm also changes your evenings. You stop carrying the day into the night. You allow the nervous system to unwind. Sleep deepens. Rest improves. The body repairs. Calm during the day creates rest at night. Rest at night creates clarity during the day. This cycle strengthens itself. You begin to trust it. A daily calm practice is forgiving. You will forget. You will react. You will get caught in thought. This is not a problem. The moment you notice, practice resumes. No punishment, no criticism. Just return. Return is the practice. This gentleness is essential. Harshness creates tension. Calm grows in kindness. You are not training a machine. You are guiding a living system. The system responds to patience. Over time, calm becomes less noticeable, not because it disappears, but because it becomes normal. You stop thinking about it. You simply live from it. This is when calm is strongest, when it is no longer an effort, when it is no longer a goal, when it is just how you move through life. You speak with more intention, listen with more depth, decide with more clarity. Not because you try harder, but because noise has reduced. This clarity feels natural. Calm also gives you perspective. Moments that once felt overwhelming now feel manageable. Not because they changed, but because you did. You are no longer meeting life from a contracted place. You are meeting it openly. This openness does not make you vulnerable. It makes you resilient. You bend without breaking. You feel without collapsing. You care without losing yourself. This is the reward of daily practice. Not perfection, presence. You do not need to remember everything you learned. Your nervous system remembers. Each calm choice has been recorded. Each pause has been integrated. Each breath has taught the body something new. Trust that. Calm is now part of you. It will surface when needed. Not dramatically, quietly, steadily. Pause here. Take a breath. Notice the simplicity of this moment. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs fixing. This is calm, not as an idea, not as a goal, but as a way of being. And this way of being is always available to you. Again and again and again. Take a slow breath. Nothing more needs to be learned right now. Nothing needs to be remembered perfectly. What matters has already settled. Calm was never something you needed to chase. It was something you needed to uncover. Through these chapters, you did not gain a new skill. You remembered an old one. The ability to pause, to breathe, to remain steady. Life will continue to move. Challenges will appear. Moments of pressure will return. And when they do, you will not need to fight them. You will meet them with awareness, with clarity, with steadiness. You now understand that calm is not the absence of difficulty. It is presence within it. You do not need to control everything. You do not need to react to everyone. You do not need to solve the future. You only need to stay here, again and again. Each breath brings you back. Each pause strengthens you. Each moment of awareness reminds you who you are. Calm is now part of how you move through the world. Not as an effort, not as a performance, but as a foundation. Carry this calm with you into your days, into your decisions, into your life. And remember, no matter what happens, you remain steady. Thank you for listening.